Welcome back, readers. It is chapter 3 of Winn-Dixie today. And then I'm going to show you a little activity that I want you to do at the end. Okay? And I think I did it in Google Slides. I'm going to hopefully work that out today. And then you should be able to type right on top of the paper that I'm giving you. And if you can't type on it, just do it on a loose leaf, or you could print it out too, what we've been doing. Okay. All right, here we go. Chapter 3. I started in on Winn-Dixie right away, trying to clean him up. First, I gave him a bath. I used the garden hose and some baby shampoo. He stood still for it, but I could tell he didn't like it. He looked insulted, and the whole time, he didn't show his teeth or wag his tail. After he was all washed and dried, I brushed him good. I used my own hairbrush and worked real hard at all the knots and patches of fur that stuck together. He didn't mind being brushed. He wiggled his back, like it felt pretty good. The whole time I was working on him, I was talking to him, and he was listening. I told him how we were alike. See, I said, you don't have a family, and neither do I. I've got the preacher, of course, but I don't have a mama. I mean, I have one, but I don't know where she is. She left when I was 3 years old. I can hardly remember her. And I bet you don't remember your mama much either. So we're almost like orphans. Winn-Dixie looked straight at me when I said that to him, like he was feeling relieved to finally have somebody that understood his situation. I nodded my head at him and went on talking. I don't even have any friends because I have to leave them all behind when we moved here from Whately. Whately is up North Florida. Have you ever been to North Florida? Winn-Dixie looked down at the ground, like he was trying to remember if he had. You know what, I said. Ever since we moved here, I've been thinking about my mama extra hard. More than I ever did when we were in Whately. Winn-Dixie twitched his ears and raised his eyebrows. I think the preacher thinks about my mama all the time, too. He's still in love with her. I know that because I heard the ladies at the church at Whately talking about him. They said that he's still hoping that she'll come back. But he doesn't tell me that. He won't tell me about her at all. I want to know more about her. But I'm afraid to ask the preacher. I'm afraid he'll get mad at me. Winn-Dixie looked at me hard, like he was trying to say something. What? I said. He stared at me. What do you think? Do you think I should make the preacher tell me about her? Winn-Dixie looked at me so hard, he sneezed. I'll think about it, I said. When I was done working on him, Winn-Dixie looked like a whole lot better. He still had a bald spot, but the fur where he had been cleaned up nice. It was all kind of shiny and soft. You could still see his ribs, but I intended to feed him good, and that would take care of that. I couldn't do anything about his crooked yellow teeth. He got into a sneezing fit every time I started brushing them with my toothbrush, and I finally had to give up. But for the most part, he looked a whole lot better, and so I took him into the trailer and showed him to the preacher. Daddy, I said. He said. He was working on his sermons and kind of muttering to himself. Daddy, I wanted to show you the new Winn-Dixie. The preacher put down his pencil and rubbed his nose and finally looked up. Well, he said with a real big smile at Winn-Dixie. Well now, don't you look handsome? Winn-Dixie smiled back at the preacher. He went over and put his head in the preacher's lap. He smells nice too, said the preacher. He rubbed Winn-Dixie's head and looked into his eyes. Daddy, I said real quick before I lost my nerve, I've been talking to Winn-Dixie. Is that right? The preacher said. He was scratching Winn-Dixie's head. I've been talking to him, and he agreed with me. Since I'm 10 years old now, you should tell me 10 things about my mom. Just 10 things, that's all. The preacher stopped rubbing Winn-Dixie's head and held real still. I could see him thinking about pulling his head back into his shell. One thing for each year I've been alive, I told him, please. Winn-Dixie looked up at the preacher and kind of nudged him with his nose. The preacher sighed. He said to Winn-Dixie, "I should have guessed you were going to be trouble." He looked at me. "Come on, Opal," he said. "Sit down, and I will tell you 10 things about your mama." All right, that was chapter 3. I'm going to stop there. I know you're probably all wondering what those 10 things are, but we will find out next time. Okay, so this is what I'm going to send you. You know how I had you looking for character traits for your character? Just simple traits. Just come up with a couple. And a lot of you have actually sent some back in the comment chat, which is totally fine. That was good. I'd like to see some of that. I'm going to send you this as an example. And then I'm going to send you a blank paper for you to fill out for your character. So this is an example. The character is Opal. And then these are all different traits you could really tell. You know, Opal is kind. She's courageous. She's kind of sneaky, caring, brave, thoughtful, sweet, intelligent, inspiring, and helpful. So all of these character traits do go with our character Opal in the story. But you need to take it a step further this time. So this time, you're going to talk about your character, and then you're going to attach a character trait with it, but then you're going to tell me how you know that. And we've practiced this before. We've done this before, so it should be okay. This says, Opal is courageous. I know this because she was nervous about asking her daddy about her mama, but she did it anyways. So that's a really good one. Courageous. Brave, you could have put brave there and said the same thing. So sometimes it's hard to ask questions. You're not sure how the other person is going to take it or answer that question. So she was being courageous, she was being brave. And that's pretty much it there. Okay, so you're going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to send you this one. This is the blank copy. So you're going to fill this out with your character. You're going to list a bunch of traits. You list 3 or 4 like you did before. But then pick one of those, just like I picked for Opal, and to say why you know that or why you think that character trait is that. Okay? I'm going to try my very best to put it in and see if you can just type right on the top of it. So we're going to give it a shot. All right? Thank you.